So I start.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then anything you get wrong, we'll just delete it out. We'll just edit it out. So just relax. There's no pressure. Get it right. Do it anyway.
The first time, okay, this is about my experience with UFOs and aliens. The first time I probably saw a UFO was when I was married to my first husband, and we were in the front yard, and there was a space shuttle being launched from Houston in Texas, and it was up in the sky. And so there was an object following it, and it was very close to the space shuttle. And then all of a sudden, it flew away really fast. And in that moment, I questioned everything I knew about God, about reality, about the Bible, about my religion, about everything. Because what kind of God would allow that kind of crap to happen? I mean, if he's sovereign. And then probably I lived in South Carolina in the country in 2013. And I used to smoke. And I was sitting on my front porch, and I have this big, beautiful front yard. And I had this little music thing that my husband gave me.
Music box?
No, it was like a tablet, but it had music recorded on it.
Uh-huh.
And I was listening to Florence and the Machine. And I'm an empath. And I was looking up at the stars, and I just knew that there was this one thing that was not a star. And so I took my tablet thing, and I turned on the light, and I flashed it at it 3 times. And I was like, if you can see me, turn your light off. And so the star went dim, and it went dim, and it went dim. And it totally fucked me up. And that would happen, and I kept doing that. And the more I did it, the more it happened. And it was like I was communicating with them. And it just grew. And I was manic and everything, but I swear to you, I could see these things. And things started happening. I got back from my mother dying. I was in Texas for 3 weeks, and I didn't know I was pregnant. And I was listening to 9 Inch Nails on my little headset. And I had this big picture window that was led out to the deck. And I was looking out the window, and I saw these 3 little beings. And they were looking in the window. And I freaked out, and I threw my music down, and I ran to the bedroom, and I got in bed, and I was like, holy shit. And the next thing I know, these 3 little beings are walking in my bedroom, and I do like that at them. And
To protect yourself.
It didn't work.
Uh-huh.
The next thing I know, the next morning, I'm having my period, and I'm just gushing blood, and I go to the hospital, and I had a miscarriage. And that was the first time that something like that happened. And then
So I wanted to, could I ask, the first two experiences you told us about, the space shuttle one and then the next one, the way you described it, it sounded like it was the negative. It was your experience and you felt bad about it, right? Was that accurate? It was bad because it was
Scary.
scary, yeah.
Yeah, it was scary. It's like when they come, they talk in your head.
Yeah,
They don't talk like
they don't
talk to you verbally. They talk in your head, and they knock you out like that.
Okay.
Like, and they don't. It's
Now, do you feel this as a violation? You feel like it's an attack on you.
some of the grays are the worst.
The grays are the
The little ones. The little ones are the worst. They're the mean ones.
Okay, so stay away from the gray ones. And what are the friendlier ones? If you tell me experience, tell me a positive experience you had. Is a one that is positive. You feel.
Well, like you can tell when they're looking at you because the world shifts. Like if I'm looking up in the sky, and they're focusing on you. It's like things go in 3D. And like one time,
do things seem more real or less? Can you rate it in that way?
well, I've done acid before, and it's kind of like
It's like you're on acid.
when they're trying to communicate, it's like, I don't know, like when you're staring at the ship, it's like the things go ethereal.
Ethereal, yeah.
Like things get snowy, and the trees would get really big, and it just like one time I asked them to let me ride in their ship, and I remember the bird-like ones, like I remember being in their craft, and they were nice. They didn't.
The bird-like ones are nicer.
Yeah,
Okay.
they didn't hurt me. But one time I was in bed and I was frozen, like in bed, because they were there. And I couldn't move, and my son went to get Bella, our dog. And when he came to get Bella, it stopped. And I went and got him in his room, in his bed. And he had this globe light, and the radio was on. And all of a sudden, Bella and Buddy were on the bed with us. And so I was afraid, and so I went and got in his bed with him. He was little, he was like 10. And so I got in bed with him with the dogs, and I felt safer, and because I didn't feel like anything was going to happen, but I was wrong.
No.
So anyway, I heard the radio go off, and the strobe light stopped. It was spinning red and blue and yellow, and it stopped, and the radio stopped, and I saw this creature about this big climb through the window, down the wall, and the dogs were just like this. They weren't blinking. They weren't doing anything. They were just frozen. And I was awake, and I watched it. It was like almost see-through. And it climbed down, and when it got down, then the radio and the strobe lights started again, and I heard the door open and close, and then I was knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened after that. But one time we were in the living room. My daughter was on the futon, and I had this old antique chest in front of the door. It was like an old closet. And she was like, Mom, the door's open. So I put baby powder down underneath the thing to see if anything was gonna walk on it. And she went and slept with Daddy. And I was on the camping bed in the living room because we were having the house worked on. And I was facing the wall. And all of a sudden, when everybody was asleep, the light in the living room turned on and it turned off. And I wasn't about to see what turned it on and off. But something did. And I think it was doing that to see what was on the floor.
Oh, you mean the powder that you put on the floor? Was curious what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And you put it on to see like footprints.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Did you see any footprints? No.
I saw dog prints and maybe some weird, but I couldn't be sure.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were having our house worked on in 2013, all kinds of weird stuff was happening.
Mm-hmm. So, tell me about something that was meaningful, that it got something. Maybe it you learned a lesson from, or it left some. I mean, have any of these experiences left you? I mean, my thinking is maybe these are just because they're aliens doesn't mean they're wiser. Maybe so maybe they have higher technology, but
They're beings of light. They one time I was sleeping, me and my husband had a fight, and I was sleeping in the master bedroom. And I had my wind chimes on a pole with the bird feeder, and it was going crazy. I heard wind and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And I went to the window and I opened it because I'd been trying to communicate with them.
Yeah.
And I would put food out and, like chicken and dog food, and I would hear them eat, and...
Who, the animals or the aliens?
I'm assuming it was the aliens. I don't know.
You were leaving food out for the aliens?
Yeah.
Oh.
And, I put chicken, like, I would throw chicken.
Why would aliens need food from you? I don't think that's what they're coming for.
No, I don't think so either. But
These are homeless aliens. These have, spaceship. I would think they have replicators that can make food for themselves, right?
I was being nice.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a gesture of kindness, I would think, right?
I didn't see grays after that. I saw other ones. But one of them was white. It was like translucent. And it was on the ground when I opened the window, and it jumped up on the roof, and I heard it go boom. And I saw the ship above the trees. And me and my son would be outside, and we would see weird lights and stuff.
Yeah.
But
see, what you've described to me, like, it doesn't sound like, like if I see alien, I would like it to impart some wisdom to me. Otherwise, I mean, I would think there's aliens out there that are
they
just
knock you out.
Yeah, well, if they have some malicious intent or they're using you in some way that doesn't, isn't fair, like it's a kind of a violation for their own, like some alien purpose that, you don't know if it's malicious or benign or something.
This is why I know it's real. Because one time there was one that was shining a light on me, and I was running, and I have a bum hip. And it was before I had my hip operation.
Yeah.
And it was hurting. And I sat down and I cried, and I was like, God, why are you allowing this to happen? And I just gave up. Like, I just said, fuck it. I'm sitting down because I couldn't run anymore because it was shining the light on me and I was scared.
Yeah.
And I was running from the light, like it was beaming light down on me. And I remember there was this little, like, tree and this little, like, island like thing, like curb, and I just sat down there and I started crying. And that's why I don't understand, like, if these are fallen angels, or if, like, I don't think we're the only intelligent species in the world.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's just no way. Like, that would be a huge waste of space.
Yeah.
And I've watched enough movies that were based on true stories that I can relate to a lot of what is said. And so I was always waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And when I would smoke, I would go outside. And I would see things. Like, I would see them in the bushes. Sometimes I would see shadows that would come out on the brick. Like, we had this brick pathway, and I saw 2 of them come on the brick pathway and look at me. I heard them on the roof. They were making like this.
Yeah.
I can't make the clicking sound, but it freaked me out. And I felt I wasn't afraid of them. The only thing that I didn't like is when I had the miscarriage. I felt violated.
Yeah, I would think, yeah. So did you feel like that there's like an alien human hybrid out there and you the mother?
I have no idea. I wasn't very far along. I was probably about a month. Maybe. That was my last baby.
Oh, that was the last baby that you had. And you have no idea why they're doing. See, like with these experiences, okay, so I would wanna get something of value from it. Like, if the only thing, if it's scary, it's a weird experience.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared anymore.
Oh, you've had so many that it's like it doesn't scare you. It's like normal, huh?
But I don't think it'll happen here.
Yeah, well, there's more people. As you're in a dense city but more populated, the reality is more, more kind of firmer, and it's less likely for those kinds of things to happen.
Yeah, but when you live out in the country,
there's less people per 100 square miles.
And the weird thing about it is like, they're invisible. Like, we live near the airport, and they're invisible to everything. Like, there would be planes, and they wouldn't see them.
Oh, so maybe they're around, we just don't see them, right?
Maybe.
Or maybe they're visible to those if they want.
They choose.
They choose who they're visible to, right?
They're like spirits. They choose
They choose who can see them.
I just know they're real.
So whether they are or not, I would want to learn from. Like, what is the experience teaching you? Like, what do you know about
That's
this?
the wind. Do you have tornadoes here?
No, we have more earthquakes here more often. Yeah,
Really?
we haven't had tornadoes like that. Yeah, we just have. I've heard that there's a Northridge earthquake. I remember.
We have a lot of tornadoes in Texas.
But that okay. We put aside the weirdness of it and the scariness of it. It used to be scary, not anymore. But how about the?
It gave me a great peace to know that there was something bigger than myself in the universe.
Yes, it breaks that. It breaks down because I believe a lot of people I see are trapped in the prisons they built in their minds, which are the beliefs, right?
And God is so much bigger.
Bigger than
you can't put God in a box.
Thank you. That I appreciate that so much to hear that from somebody else.
Put God in a box.
The word God itself is like so filled with so much misunderstanding and misconceptions.
You cannot
that they just don't like to use that.
You cannot
word.
limit God.
Yeah. Okay.
What is in the Bible is not all there is.
Yes, thank you. Because I do run into a lot of people who live in a prison, and it's defined by like that book or some other book and the beliefs in that. I see the whole.
When you stop God, when you stop and you say this is all He can do because this is what it says.
Yes, you're blocking out.
You're blocking opportunities.
Thank you. Yes. I see a lot of people blocking out reality and the truth because they're stuck in the ideas they have in their head, right?
Yeah, and like there's so many verses in the Bible that talk about how great He is and how awesome He is.
Yeah.
And all the things that He, like the word says, be still and know that I am God.
Yeah.
That means to trust Him.
No.
It doesn't mean, it only works if you do this on Sunday and go to church on Wednesday and say your prayers on,
a lot of it is just conformity or obedience to the certain codes of behavior. You should do this, not do that, only do
rules.
This. Yeah, rules, that's not what
rules
it is.
Rules don't get you into heaven.
Yeah,
Rules are schmoles.
I know. So and then to me, it's just not a matter of knowing God or believing in God. It's just being. You can't. I feel you can't know it. You can only be what you are, and when you are what you are, and not separated from it by some concept in your head.
God is so mysterious.
Yeah.
I was sitting outside smoking, and God kept showing me butterflies. I mean, I saw butterflies and hummingbirds and dragonflies up until like November. And that's why I got this tattoo.
No. Yeah.
Because it was like God's way of healing me.
Well, butterfly, caterpillar turning into a butterfly is a symbol of transformation. Right?
So now every time I see a butterfly, I know everything's going to be okay.
I think it is.
And I was out there.
In the yard?
In the yard, and I saw a pink butterfly.
Oh.
And I didn't even know they were out now. Like, I don't think they're out now. But God showed me a butterfly. And that's God. That's how God shows me everything's going to be okay.
Well, I'm telling you, everything's going to be okay.
I know.
I kind of want to feel that myself. I want to tell myself everything is going to be okay, and it's going to be okay because I tell myself. And you can just tell yourself, you don't need to have butterfly or anything. If that's good, that does that. But you just tell yourself everything is gonna be okay, and you can make it okay. How about that?
I just know that that's what God does, though.
Uh-huh.
That's like God's sign to me. When I'm scared or frightened, like I was scared about my medicine and I couldn't get it fixed, and the doctor wasn't calling the pharmacy, and I was almost out of my pills, and I was going to go through withdrawals, and then there was a butterfly. I was like, okay, God, you're in charge. But I think the thing that I learned from all those experiences is that I'm very small, and the world is a much bigger place than I ever expected it to be. And I'm just one little tiny person in a big, big, giant world. And, you know, things are so much bigger than we ever imagined.
Yes.
And we can't put God in a box.
Mm-hmm.
We just can't put things, we can't limit our knowledge. We can't limit.
Yes.
We just can't limit things.
Yeah.
Because if we stop it, we're stopping opportunities.
Yeah.
And we're stopping, if we limit things, we're not allowing change and opportunities.
Yes. If you lock into some belief or some concept, then you're blocking out the truth.
And not just the truth, but opportunities to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it gave me great joy when I would see the star or the ship turn off and on, and you know, I'd be like, can I go for a ride, or or whatever, you know.
Also, I just had a thought. A friend of mine, I think you heard, was saying my bushy eyebrows look like caterpillars, and it feels like someday they're gonna turn into butterflies.
It's a sign of virility. In Japan, it's a sign of virility.
Thick eyebrows? Mm-hmm. Well, I know the Japanese men don't have a lot of hair. Like they have, you know.
But they have bushy eyebrows.
Oh, they Japanese have bushy eyebrows? Oh, I would think then they would think that's a sign of virility, right?
It means they've got a lot of oomph.
Okay.
So you have a lot of oomph. Like what you do.
That's the truth right there. Well,
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I know that firsthand.
So let's call it the night now. See? Butterflies, what is it? Butterflies are a sign everything's gonna be okay. The bushy eyebrows just turn into butterflies.
What do you think, buddy?
Buddies, look at this weird. Okay. Good night.
Yeah.
Until next time on the Zeke Show.